I don't understand the media constantly trying to twist the things I say into a negative way when all I want is better for women. I really don't understand it. I don't appreciate the lies. Don't you ever get sick of lying on my name? Like, sheesh. Don't you have anything else better to talk about?
So Liz Cambage just came out of retirement, and she's finally setting the record straight on what really forced her out of the WNBA. And let me tell you, she might have just opened Pandora's box. That whole story about Liz going rogue and being forced into a shameful retirement, according to her, it was nothing but a PR cover-up crafted by the WNBA itself. But the bigger question isn't who created the narrative, it's why. For years, fans who connected the dots between Liz's sudden exit and Brittany Griner's sudden comeback were called crazy. Well, not anymore. Turns out, the league was willing to protect Brittany at all costs, if it meant sacrificing one of its biggest stars. But here's the twist. Liz never planned on staying silent forever. She's back, louder than ever, and she's ready to take names. And if that means more careers getting cut down to expose the truth, so be it.
You know, I got to witness it all firsthand. The lies I was told, and I'm so happy I have witnesses to everything I've been through. Dinner's at Catch, you know.
So, Liz Cambage just lit the internet on fire after revealing the real reason she left the WNBA. Or better yet, the real reason she was kicked out. Because it turns out, she never retired willingly, like we were all led to believe. For the past few years, Liz has been off the WNBA courts and focused on her career. The official story was that her image was too damaged after the infamous incident with the Nigerian basketball team Man, that she was just too controversial for any franchise to keep. But according to Liz's Nest, that's not the truth at all. In an explosive sit-down with Taylor Rooks for Bleacher Report, she revealed that the WNBA set her up hall to protect Brittany Griner. Sounds crazy? Wait until you hear this. Liz says the Nigerian basketball controversy was blown way out of proportion, deliberately framed to make her look like the villain and justify kicking her out. We all remember the headlines during the 2021 pre-Olympic scrimmage. Reports claimed Liz threw racial slurs at Nigeria's Tigers players, calling them monkeys and telling them to go back to their third world country. The story went viral, and for days she was the top topic on Twitter and every sports show. But here's the twist. Liz says it never happened like that. She insists she never used racial slurs, reminding everyone she's always been proudly pro-black. And for her, being accused of something like that was completely out of character.
Well, this one girl that's been all these lies.
And I know what you're probably thinking. Of course Liz is going to deny using slurs. She has to protect her image. But here's where it gets interesting. People who actually went digging for the truth unearthed footage from that scrimmage, and what they found paints a very different picture. From the clips, it's clear Liz wasn't the only one throwing hands. It looked more like a heated game that got out of control, players on both sides going at it now. Don't get me wrong, nobody's denying that Liz Cambage is controversial. She's had her share of wild moments, both on and off the court. But in this particular case, Liz later realized she was being set up to take the blame for something way bigger than just that. Scrimmage. And if you need more proof that she was being singled out, just pay attention to one detail. When a player from the other team attacks Liz, notice how not a single one of her teammates steps in to defend her, almost like they already knew she was being thrown under the bus. It's giving full-blown conspiracy vibes, but hold on, because this is where things take an even sharper turn. At first, Liz brushed it off as just a bad moment in her career. But over time, she started connecting the dots and realized that the 2021 pre-Olympic incident wasn't the first time she'd been baited into looking like the villain for years. She says she'd been facing pressure from certain players and even team executives. But it all came crashing into the spotlight when she finally spoke out about her messy contract divorce with the Los Angeles Sparks in 2022. Here's the backstory. Liz's deal with the Sparks was supposed to be sweet. $170,000 salary plus perks, like a car, rent, and other living expenses. But after signing, she discovered it was all smoke and mirrors. The WNBA flagged those perks as impermissible benefits. which meant she wasn't getting any of it. As if that wasn't enough, Liz says her time with the Sparks was pure chaos. The staff treated her horribly, teammates made things even worse, and she hit absolute rock bottom. And no matter how many complaints she filed, she was ignored, silenced, and brushed aside. Eventually, Liz had no choice but to break her contract mid-season just to escape what she called a toxic environment.
LA is as the pinnacle of my dream, even though a lot of people warned me about playing for that club, and I got to witness it all firsthand. The lies I was told, and I'm so happy I have witnesses to everything I've been through. Dinners at Catch, with GMs and ownership telling me they were going to get me a G-Wagon.
And ownership told you they were going to get you a G-Wagon if you came to the Sparks.
We'll show you with any car you want. I'm talking G-Wagons. She said maybe we'll get you a GLE. We're going to help you extra, paying your rent in Bel Air. We're going to pay off your coaches, your medical staff. Did any of that happen? No. So you brought me here on lies. I'm dealing with, a lot of disrespect, a lot of turbulent players in the change room, the locker rooms, and I'm telling the GM, I'm telling coaches, I'm telling the ownership what's going on. No one cares. No one cares. So I'm not the type of girl that's going to sit in a disrespectful anything. Relationship, workspace, anything. I'm going to leave. There's one thing I'm going to do. I'm going to leave if I'm uncomfortable, and that's what I did.
So here's the catch. While Liz was being dragged through the mud, other players on the same team were quietly enjoying perks far beyond what she was even asking for. According to Liz, it wasn't just unfair treatment. It felt like she was being singled out and painted as the villain for no reason at all. But years later, she finally connected the dots. All those passive-aggressive digs, the dismissals when she complained, the insults from her own teammates, it wasn't random. It was a setup. The league wanted Liz to act out, so they could justify kicking her out of the WNBA, all while secretly protecting Brittany Griner. And here's the big question. Why would the WNBA risk it all for just one player? Why sacrifice Liz to shield Brittany? Well, if you've been following the whispers, you already know. For months, rumors have been swirling about Brittany's identity and how she's allegedly been playing under false pretenses. Fans have pointed out her size, her strength, her aggressiveness, traits that give her what many believe are unfair advantages over other women in the league. And despite mandatory player testing, Brittany somehow keeps flying under the WNBA radar. Fans have been demanding investigations, but nothing ever happens. No reports, no transparency, which only fuels the suspicion that the league is deliberately hiding facts to protect her. Now, on the surface, the WNBA sells itself as progressive, pushing inclusivity for trans and queer athletes. And sure, that sounds admirable. But when actual players start speaking out, saying they're being sidelined for these same woke policies, things get messy. Two-time national champion Val Whiting even said, "Trans women do not belong in women's sports. It's not fair, nor safe for biological women. Inclusivity is one thing, but not when it comes at the expense of female athletes chasing their dreams." And fans can't help but notice the double standards. Brittany gets endless passes for things that would end other players' careers. For example, when she publicly insulted Caitlin Clark in front of the world, there was no punishment. No apology, not even a slap on the wrist. Just Brittany denying what millions saw with their own eyes. Now imagine if the roles were reversed. If Caitlin Clark had said that to Brittany, the league would have thrown her to the wolves, ended her sponsorships, and possibly her entire career, which is exactly what happened to Liz after that Nigeria scrimmage. Despite clear footage showing she was attacked, and despite her insistence that she never used slurs, Liz was painted as the villain and kicked out anyway. Fans immediately clocked the double standard. One viral tweet put it perfectly. They kicked Liz Cambage and Kennedy Carter out the league for things they're letting Brittany get away with. And here's what really tells the story. Liz never wanted to leave. Her teammates cried when she was forced out. Fans begged for her return, saying she's exactly what the league needs right now. That spark, that tension, that drama. One fan even said, "Where's Liz Cambage when you need her?" The WNBA needs her more than ever. So why? If the league and the fans clearly value her, does she still carry the problem player label? Sure. Liz attracts drama. She's been on 12 different teams across the WNBA, China, Australia, and Israel. She's never stayed with one team back-to-back seasons. But here's the truth. It's only controversial when Liz does it. Other players bounce around all the time, but they don't face the same level of backlash. And here's the kicker. Liz gets dragged harder than players who have actually broken the law. Brittany Griner has been convicted and jailed for carrying substances, but she's still celebrated and protected. Meanwhile, Liz gets blackballed for rumors and narratives that don't even hold up under scrutiny. For many fans, it couldn't be clearer. Liz was sacrificed so the WNBA could keep Brittany untouchable. But here's the twist. Now that people are finally asking questions and demanding answers, Liz has the perfect chance to stage a comeback. And if she comes back, she's not coming empty-handed. She's coming with receipts. She's coming with names. And when she finally exposes the people who destroyed her career to protect their secrets, heads will roll. And this time, the WNBA won't be able to bury it.